Okay, hi everyone. Welcome to our Sunday Skills Nation call. Thank you all for jumping on, making the time to get on a Sunday afternoon. I know you've probably got 100 other things that you'd want, want to be doing, but you've made the time and prioritised to jump on. So it's really great to see you all on, and we have a really awesome guest speaker today, which I know that you're all going to love. So this beautiful lady I've known the whole time I've been in Arbonne, and she has, I think we've been in Arbonne the same time, to be honest. And what was I going to say about her? Apart from being a beautiful person, she just rocks Arbonne. So this new national vice president, I think she's promoted out 2 months ago. Looking at her on the screen today, she actually looks like an MVP. She always has. But the beautiful Emma Matthews, she joined Arbonne 6 years ago. And she's going to share with you a little bit more about her story and her background. But Emma has won 3 AIT trips, Circle of Excellence Award at GTC, which is a pretty big deal. And she's been in the top 3 for sponsoring for Australia and New Zealand for the past 3 years. So I couldn't think of anybody better than to speak to you about personal activity, sponsoring, and really just to give you the belief and the stamina to keep going, because I had a conversation with Em probably a year ago now, back at the AM retreat, and we were at the high tea, and I don't know if you remember this, Em. She's nodding. And I said, "How are you, Emma?" And she goes, "Yeah, we're going nation." And I said, "Well done. That's awesome." She goes, "Yeah, it's done. I'm sick of sitting here. It's happening, non-negotiable." And the truth is, it probably took her another 8 months to do that, but the decision had been made. And when the decision is made, you only have one place to go, and that is towards that decision. And even though it's taken her 8 months, I'm sure she'll agree that it didn't matter. The decision was made and she was going. So it's that certainty. I'm really excited for Emma to share her journey, because she has had some ups and downs, some doubts and not doubts, but, moments where, she just thought, am I ever going to make it to NVP? And the truth is that if you stay consistent, you stick with your dream, the proof is in the pudding. And I can't wait to hear from Emma as she shares her experience and her knowledge with you all. So without further ado, we'll hand over to beautiful new National Vice President, Emma Matthews.
Oh, thank you so much, Felicia. It's nice to see some familiar faces on the call too. Tracy and Tony. They too were, I think, on the Circle of Excellence the year that I achieved that as well, which is so super special. So thank you, Felicia, for asking me to train what's this evening for us, this afternoon for you guys. It's a huge, huge honour. And as Felicia said, I am a brand new National Vice President, and it is something that I've been working towards for 6 years since starting my Arbonne journey. But seeing I am going to be sharing my journey, and some details of my journey aren't typical for an Arbonne consultant, I will just start by citing arbonne.earnings.com. So let's go down memory lane together. I'm going to weave in a few training topics in and around my story, but I'll be sharing the good, the bad and the ugly, with some inspo and some tips along the way. So I was introduced to Arbonne in 2013 by an old school friend at a product experience, NVP Sarah Tuatoko. Some of you may know her, some of you may not. And I instantly fell in love with the product and was the best preferred client for 12 months. At the time, I was heavily pregnant with my 3rd baby, and I was actually about to go on maternity leave. So I had no interest in the business whatsoever. But I truly, was introduced to Arbonne through my love of the Arbonne products. Fast forward 12 months, when my preferred client was due for renewal, I actually upgraded myself to consultant purely for the discount. My love of the product was real, and I, at the time, wanted the biggest discount on my products. So as again, even at this time, I had no interest in the business whatsoever. So who else would love a preferred client in their business to upgrade themselves and now be a national vice president in their team? I still haven't duplicated this, but it absolutely is part of my vision every single day that I too will meet someone who does this. So a few weeks after I upgraded myself to a consultant, I got the dreaded call from work asking when I was returning from maternity leave. And at this point, I had 3 small children under 5, aged 4, 3 and 10 months. It was totally nuts at home. My hubby also had his own electrical business with unpredictable working hours, and the thought of throwing in shift work as a midwife gave me that constant overwhelming feeling to vomit, to be totally honest with you. So I actually reached out to Sarah because I knew there was a business attached to these incredible products that I'd fallen in love with. And I didn't launch my business. I don't recommend that at all. But my sister did host a group presentation for me, which became my unofficial launch. I personally got into massive activity, predominantly doing group presentations. And this is how I have built my business. So 90% of my team I did not know before Arbonne and have met through, doing group presentations and belly-to-belly activity. At this time, I went on to achieve district manager on my own personal effort. With a jam-packed calendar and huge personal sales and registering of preferred clients, I went into area manager qualification in 3rd month. So this isn't typical, but my first consultant joined my team at end of month. And she actually promoted to regional vice president last month and became my 2nd direct region, which is so incredibly exciting. My very first consultant to join my team 6 years ago. The next month we completed area manager. With extraordinary effort, drive and effort, this same consultant became an area manager over the next few months too. So she totally was coachable and duplicated exactly how I started my business as well, but she did launch. So I went from an independent consultant to an executive area manager in a very short period of time. And I say extraordinary commitment, drive and effort because that is exactly what it took. And I remember this being a period in my business, I remember this period of my business like it was yesterday, as it was a huge crossroads for me. So achieving this milestone gave me choices, and due to continuing to commit and build my business, I was able to extend my maternity leave for another 2 years, which obviously achieved better balance in my life and more devoted time to my family. So to go region, I knew I had to make some changes at home. So my children had never had to go to daycare, and I was adamant that my youngest, Leo, wouldn't either. However, I also knew that I needed some designated time to focus on my business, and Sarah and the beautiful NVP Katrina Andrew were highly encouraging me to do it. So I made one of actually the toughest decisions in my business to do that. Now, some of you are probably sitting here thinking, what is the big deal? Like, people put their children into childcare all the time. But for me, this was an area that I probably resisted because I had huge mum guilt around this, because I'd never had to do it with my other 2 children. But on the same token, I also had never had my own business before either. So I did decide to put him into the daycare, and this turned out to be a huge turning point in my business. And who knew that being coachable would pay off? So there's your first tip for the night. I went on to achieve my first Arbonne incentive trip to the Gold Coast. And due to the hard work and client sales during the qualification period for the trip, I was actually really unsure whether to go on this trip, as our team was in huge momentum and looked to go into region qualification that month. And I was encouraged to go to inspire my team, and we did actually go into region qual this month. But unfortunately at this time, our team wasn't ready and we didn't complete. So I went into full rebuild mode, and only 5 months later, I went to my 2nd global training conference. And in this same month, we went back into regional vice president qualification and completed. And I will just make mention here that we went into nation qual this month in GTC month. So do not underestimate the power of GTC and any conference month. We have AAC coming up next month. If you are striving for a goal or to complete a goal, conference months are so powerful. So make sure that you are registered for any conference that you can, because the nuggets that you get are like no other. On the 28th of June, due to the VP Success Award, I picked up my beautiful Mercedes, which is obviously a huge highlight in my Arbonne journey and a constant reminder of all the lives I've been able to change. 8 months after promoting to Regional Vice President on the 14th of February 2017, so Valentine's Day for us was quite a difficult day every single year, the course of my family's life would change forever when my husband was diagnosed with brain cancer. So from one day to the next, out of absolutely nowhere, our priorities, our plans, our everything changed. Terrifying, life-altering and emotionally tough. At this time, it was really hard not to go to a negative place, thinking about all the what ifs. What if he doesn't recover from surgery? What if he doesn't beat cancer? What if I become a single mum to 3 small children? But even during this traumatic time, I knew these negative thoughts weren't serving me or my family. And on the day of his diagnosis, we used to have face-to-face region trainings, and I turned up to this training without my team even knowing what was happening at home. How I did that, to this day, I do not know. And I also remember having a conversation with Sarah and Katrina, who at this time were the only people that knew in my Arbonne world. And they highly encouraged me not to go to this training. You know, your team will understand, but, you know, I've always stuck to my commitments. And I remember saying to them, we aren't dealt cards we aren't strong enough to play. And I don't know how it was even possible to be thinking this way. Like, my husband was just diagnosed with brain cancer. It was okay for me not to be okay and to fall to pieces. But it was in that moment that I realised that the Emma prior to Arbonne wouldn't have acted or thought that way, wouldn't have coped and wouldn't have had the strength to power on. But through the personal development, feeding my mind with positivity and surrounding myself with positive people for the 3 years that I'd been in Arbonne at that time, and in the lead up to that, I was able to draw on everything I'd learnt, everything I experienced, and, you know, look for the positives in the situation, understanding that life happens for you, not to you. So all of us go through things in life, but the secret is you go through them. So, you know, if I can give any advice, don't wait for the big catastrophic event to stop you in your tracks or, you know, stop you from playing small. Choose to build it before you actually need it. So during this time, I had every excuse under the sun to park my business, like so many. And every day was a mental battle, which over time actually manifested into physical symptoms totally out of my control. So why didn't I park my business? It would have taken the pressure off me. It would have freed up more time to spend with my husband and 3 small children. Why? Because they are my why. And I wasn't going to let my why become my excuse. So with everything that was going on personally, it never showed up professionally. My business grew from strength to strength because the alternative for me was not an option. And my business and its success is a non-negotiable. So when you take your most valuable player out, which is you, your business will suffer. So even in times of absolute turmoil, it's so important to lead by example. Showing your team that you are still in the trenches with them, and regardless of where we are at, we don't stop, rest on our laurels, or take anyone for granted. The difference between who you are and who you want to be is what you do. And your team are looking at you to be a strong leader for them, to show them the way. Now, bumps in the road aren't designed to take us out of the game, instead groom us to becoming the best versions of ourselves. So things happen to us. Things don't happen to us, they happen for us. And I am a better person today than before my husband's diagnosis. And I believe it to be an essential part of my journey that has helped me grow into a better person and leader today. I will just add, though, that through the toughest year of my life, we had our best year in business. We absolutely smashed it. My Arbonne team rallied to support my family and I, and that is the culture that we have created in Arbonne. We have each other's backs. I was supported by the Arbonne community Australia-wide with offers from leaders to come and support and train my team. which at the time totally blew me away, because I was made to feel like an absolute drain on the payroll from my my day-to-day job as a midwife, which I look back now and just think it was such a disgusting time with how I was treated by my employee. But Arbonne, it really shone through the culture that we have in Arbonne, which is just something so incredibly special. I just remember during this time having so much gratitude for my business, because, you know, I was able to be present for my family when it mattered most, and have the time to support them. And time is the most precious gift. So after many lows and during a really tough time personally, I achieved my second Arbonne incentive trip to Thailand, enjoying this trip with my mum and my husband's parents, who supported us through it all. This was such a special trip, even though my husband was mid-treatment and felt absolutely dreadful. I also had one of the biggest highlights in my Arbonne journey, to finish that year off with an absolute bang, and I promoted my first regional vice president. So this was the best way to end one of the most challenging years of my life. Staying committed to my business was a choice I made during my husband's cancer journey, and the results for the commitment I made started showing up. So I went to my 4th GTC, achieving a grand award, and walked the stage in the Circle of Excellence category, as Felicia mentioned, an award for new and new volume, which is personal activity. So this award, above all other recognition in my journey, will go down as a moment in my journey I'll never forget. Walking that stage, I had an overwhelming feeling of pride and emotion, because this award was earned during the toughest year of my life. I also earned my 3rd Arbonne incentive trip to Hawaii, and I made a massive life decision at the age of 32 to deregister myself as a midwife, as that was the last thing that I needed to do to go all in on my business. I realised that life is too short to work in a job where you aren't appreciated and you've lost your passion for. I was also asked to speak at AAC, and my topic was Prepare for Impact. I don't know if any of you were there, you probably remember it. Crying on stage, but at that time it was all very raw and real, and Tony and Tracy were actually speakers at the exact same conference. I remember being backstage with them, and also at this time I received multiple recognition in multiple categories as well, which was just incredible. But after 2 years of grueling treatment, we received the best news possible, that my hubby had beaten his battle with cancer. So he's now been, sorry. Sorry, it still gets me.
You're amazing.
Okay. Fast forward to 2020, and wow, what a year! None of us could have ever expected. But I'm a fighter and I love a good challenge. So I was reminded by Katrina Andrew that my strengths played into the situation that has happened this year. I'm an achiever, I'm futuristic, competitive, I have discipline, and I'm strategic. I don't know if any of you have ever done a strengths test before, but it is a really valuable tool to have, because when I was reminded of these strengths, I was like, okay, we could actually build a nation during isolation. And that is exactly what we did, and what a story to tell. And here I am tonight telling you guys. So as I said at the start, I have built my business predominantly face-to-face. So as a leader and as a team, we have to adapt. If you want something you've never had, you have to do something you've never done. And for us, that was embracing online. So it was also important to remember to not change the goal, instead the activity and the plan. We got creative and we ramped up value-add tutorials and events in our team client group, and also embraced online events. So I can tell you all now that I would not be sitting here tonight and sharing my story as a brand new National Vice President if it wasn't for online events and embracing online as a platform for our business. Our registering of new preferred clients and consultants went absolutely through the roof. So I'm going to pause my story here to cover off registering preferred clients and independent consultants, because as Felicia mentioned, and I don't like to gloat, and I don't share these things to gloat, but I have been in the top sponsoring Arbonne Australia and New Zealand for the past 3 years. So I want to share a few nuggets with you guys as to how you too can increase, sponsoring in your own businesses. And I don't have a secret sauce, and I'm not doing anything that hasn't been trained out before. I'm coachable, and I take on all of the new ideas and suggestions given to us along the way by people who have gone before me. So it's not about what I do or say, it's about failing forward enough times to increase your own averages to see the results for yourself. So for those that have been in the business for a while, you're probably going to want to jump through the screen and strangle me, because you've probably heard it all before. But when the student is ready, the teacher appears. So maybe the way that I deliver the information tonight will resonate with you. So when I was at GTC last year, I heard that if someone is registering more people than you, promoting more managers than you, earning more incentives than you, elevating in their business quicker than you, it's not because they know something you don't or are doing something different. They are simply doing more. So this gave me a huge mindset shift. And an area of strength in my team and I's business is registering or enrolling, whatever word you guys are using at the moment, of new preferred clients and independent consultants. And I attribute this to 2 key things: consistent activity and time blocking. So registering or enrolling is simply a byproduct of activity. The more activity you have booked in, the more sponsoring you'll have in your business. So, and not only that, QV follows sponsoring. So all too often in this business, we overcomplicate things. But it's important to remember to keep the main thing the main thing. We share the business and we share the products. That is literally all we do as independent consultants. How you decide to do that is totally your choice, and we have more options than ever now that we, have online as an option. You guys may have done online for a really long time, but our team is just caught up since good old isolation. But none of the suggested reach out methods in this business are compulsory. I love that we can tailor, everybody's business can be different. We get to choose what we want to implement and what we don't. And I absolutely love this. And now more than ever, do we have an incredibly flexible business to offer potentials. So who have you offered the business to in the past who have said to you, doing parties just isn't my thing. I can't stand in front of a group of people and talk. Have you revisited them? Ask yourself that. Because what this pandemic has shown all of us is that we can offer and run this business as an online business. Literally overnight, the way we ran our businesses had to change. And so much success, as you can see throughout all of Arbonne, has come from us all adjusting to the times. And in my team, so much registering of new consultants has come from online events, because the hosts and the guests can see how simple it is and know that they too can fit it into their lives. So who has also had people say, no, I can't do this business because I don't have time. Oh, I don't want to give up my weekends, or I'm just so busy. I think we can all put up our hand to that one. So anybody who's part of any of our online events has seen just how simple it is to have an Arbonne business now. Going to say, so personally, and again, this isn't to gloat, but since GTC this year, so April, May, June and July, I have personally sponsored over 90 new independent consultants and preferred clients. That's not my team, that's not my nation, that's not my central region, that's me personally, through doing online events. So, and this didn't happen by chance. This happened because I made a decision to go all in and to book my calendar to the hilt. Online events are a way to totally maximise our time. So can I just ask a question, Felicia? Are you doing online events?
Yes, and as Tracy's put in there, Sarah and Katrina shared with us what you guys were doing.
Awesome.
And then we took the baton and ran with it and made some adjustments. And as you said, failed forward with it, and yeah, done all of
Beautiful.
that.
Okay, that's awesome, because I was about to say we don't do the 15-minute live online events because a lot of our team resisted that, and I actually too did, because I didn't want to be available around the clock doing 15-minute live. So what you guys have done is exactly what I'm talking about with online events and leveraging our time, because they can roll along in the background while we're off doing other things. So, we can have events running in the background while we do one-on-ones or group presentations. And the best thing is that no product is needed either for online events. So our products, which in my team, we call our employees. Our employees should be working for us at any opportunity. They should be out rotating or, using them in group presentation settings. So we can focus on expanding our networks at a rapid rate, not only with online events, but also with whatever, now that we can, face-to-face activity as well. So we're really having the best of both worlds, and it is the most incredible time leverage. I'm using Tracy and Tony a lot tonight, but I used to always envy partnerships, because I'm thinking, wow, they can split two ways and be doing two things at the same time. But all of us have that now, that we can do online events and also be doing in person at exactly the same time, which is just awesome. And it's just not a case of one or the other anymore. And that leads me to point 2, which is time blocking. So I absolutely love this saying by Debbie Neal: work your business consistently so you don't have to work it constantly. And it is so, so true. So by putting some key things into place to make yourself more productive, even just a little bit every day, you won't have to work your business constantly to feel like you're getting nowhere. So we have to get smart with our time. This business has to work for us. We don't want this just to be another thing we're doing, another stress in our lives. If what you're doing in your business at the moment isn't bringing you joy, it's time to change things up. So the first focus area needs to be your calendar. Take charge of your diary and schedule designated time for your business. For this business to work, we need to be in activity, and consistent activity. We hear this over and over again: activity fixes everything. And I'm sitting here as a National Vice President, and I am far from perfect, absolutely far from perfect. And I am the first to call myself out on my own BS. So I didn't have any activity booked for this weekend, which I was not happy about. So instead of going, oh, well, there's always next weekend, I spent 2 hours on Wednesday doing reach outs for online events, knowing that there's such a quick turnaround from a yes to booking them in, and I secured 4 to run over this weekend, so Friday, Saturday, Sunday. This one decision will make a huge impact on my month. And what I do, my team does. So I shared with them, which caused an avalanche of online event bookings across the board in our team. So it's important to remember that it's all the commitments and time investment you make to yourself when no one is looking is when results will show up in your business. So a lot of us make Arbonne a priority, but is it a top priority? There is a huge, huge difference there. And are you thinking about Arbonne, or are you doing Arbonne? It's really important not to confuse the two, because thinking about Arbonne is an income producing activity and it won't build your business. It's the doing that will see you realise your goals. So time block whatever it is that you can invest in your business daily. 1 hour used effectively is way better than 4 hours procrastinating. So back to my story, when you're going for a big goal in your business, it's so important to focus on your journey, not the destination. So it's one of the biggest hurdles to overcome when you want to achieve something. By focusing on the small steps daily, before you know it, you'll have conquered the bigger steps. Every little thing you do inches you closer to the goal. We all, like in my team, we all increased our DMO through isolation as we had the time to do so, and also a lot less distractions. So for me, my daily method of operation was 5 team reach outs, 5 client follow-ups, 20 online event asks, and 3 business asks. And I committed to that daily. And that may seem like a lot, but if you guys are doing online events like we are, the asks literally take no time whatsoever if you've got a bit of a template of some verbiage. Mindset also plays a crucial role. So I don't know if any of you have read, just had a total mind blank, The Miracle Morning, by Hal Elrod. So I committed to the Savers Daily. So silence, affirmations, visualization, exercise, reading, and scribing. And I would not go to sleep until they were done, even if it meant meditating at 2 a.m. in the morning. Another incredible book that totally changed everything for me was Atomic Habits by James Clear. So if you have not read that book, that would be probably my top recommendation as a book for you guys. And one thing that he says in that book is you don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. So what I loved about this book, it was just the best in terms of building and breaking habits down into a realistic, no-nonsense way. So again, if you haven't read it, that is a must. And whilst I'm on book recommendations, top one, Atomic Habits. 2 audiobooks that I absolutely loved was Pound the Stone and Chop Wood, Carry Water by Joshua Medcalf. One you've probably heard time and time again, High Performance Habits by Brendan Bouchard. Get Over Your Damn Self by Romy Neustadt was a huge one for me. And also The Miracle Equation, again by Hal Elrod. That book is an absolute game changer as well. So my top 2 would be Atomic Habits and The Miracle Equation. So on June 30th this year at 11:54 p.m, we went right to the knocker. Freedom Nation was born, and it will go down as a moment that I will cherish in my Arbonne journey. I was surrounded by so many people that absolutely have had my back for 6 years of my journey, and my team on Zoom and sister lines and Greater Arbonne team all on Zoom who couldn't be here in person. It was just the most magical moment. But in finishing, I just want to give you all one last reminder. It's never easy, but it is so worth it. So if you can remember that throughout anything that you're going through, you will achieve anything that you set your mind to in your Arbonne journey. So thank you so much for having me. I hope you got some value from me sharing my story tonight.
Amazing. You're amazing. Honestly, I had goose pimples all up my arms and my body. And I know we heard this story at AAC a couple of years ago, but just truly inspirational. And you know what, Em, the way you do anything is the way you do everything, and the way that you handle that very difficult time in your life really just shows your character. And you've transferred that into your business as well, because the way you do one thing is the way you do everything. And I love that, your children were your why, and you didn't make it your excuse not to do this business. So thank you for inspiring everyone and helping everyone to see what's possible, and just to also really break down activity and what it means. So I'm going to ask you just one last question, and if like a call to action, people we've been doing online events and sharing and sponsoring. What if they're feeling stuck and they know that they need to do online events, and they know that they need to reach out? And we hear this all the time as leaders, and sometimes it's nice to hear it from someone else. So if someone comes to you and says, I'm really hungry, I want to get to AM Qual this month, I've reached out, I feel like I've spoken to everyone I know, what do I do next? What's your answer there?
I think we all go through periods like that in our business where we feel like we have literally asked everybody. But the first thing that I recommend anyone in my team doing is physically download your Facebook friends list. Do you all know how to do that? No. So I've consultant in my team's actually done a little recording. So I can see if I can share it with you, Felicia, to actually show you the steps to do that. Because I can bet that every single person on this call probably has more than 300, 400, 500 people on your Facebook friends list. And we always talk about writing our 100 list, and people get very daunted. And that used to be my go-to. Show me your 100 list. Have you done a 100 list? No, I haven't. because it's quite overwhelming to sit and physically write a 100 list. Well, your Facebook friends list is an instant 4, 5, 6,000 list. And going nation and doing my reach outs daily, my 20 reach outs daily from my Facebook friends list. I started back from 2014 to my very first Facebook friend, and I worked my way through my Facebook list. And the reason I did that is because my most recent friends are probably already preferred clients or people who know that I do Arbonne. But the people from back in 2014, yes, they may have watched me on social media, but I hadn't reconnected with them for such a long time. And you will be so surprised who will be willing to help you if you are vulnerable and share that you're going for a big goal in your business and that you would absolutely love their help. And, you know, I made a joke of it. I was like, you know, I haven't sent 6 years between messages or whatever, just to break the ice. And everyone was really receptive to that. And, you know, I'm still working my way through that Facebook list. I think I've got 1,300 friends. A lot of them are Arbonne consultants. And you'll go through patches in your Facebook list where it is Arbonne. You've probably spoken at a conference and have 50 new friend requests or something. But that is what I direct my new consultants and people that have been in the business for a really long time to do, because it's just an endless list of names that you can.
Excellent idea. And what can you just give us a quick little verbiage, because sometimes people just think that we're saying something magical. You know, what's the, you know, yeah, just give us a couple of examples of something.
Off the top of my head, I'll see if I can find one. Hang on, let's see who I'll just look it up because I'll give you exactly what I send to people. Hi stranger, hope you and the family are well. Hope you don't mind me reaching out like this, but I have a little favour to ask. We have new online party infrastructure and I'm looking for some hosts to roll it out with. Far from perfect, but can only improve the more I do it. With restricted face-to-face demonstrations, this is all I have to work with at the moment, and I'd be so grateful. I'll create a group, you add your friends, and that's it. A bit of fun, including some giveaways. That's it.
Awesome.
Yeah. Super simple. I always say it's not perfect, because I find that people love to help, and people are actually very good at giving feedback as well from you putting it out there that it's something new that you're introducing into your business. So I can send that as a text, Felicia, if you want to add that to your team page.
Incredible. And just lastly, Em, I know that, you know, when we're doing your business is very much like my business in face-to-face events. So it was a lot of host coaching that we talked about with doing those. Do you find that if somebody knows nothing about Arbonne and you just go in and do an online event, do you have some that are flops and you have some that are great? Is there anything that you do or that you have done that helps to, you know, weed out the flops and encourage, you know, more orders or PCs? Or is there anything around those events that you think that has helped?
So I have had so many flops that I can't even count. So please know, doesn't matter what level you're at in your business. It doesn't, like face-to-face, I could still go and have a flop. Online is exactly the same. The good thing about online is we can do a lot more at one time. So the flops don't seem to sting as much, especially if you've had 6, you know, face-to-face in-person presentations for the month and they've all been terrible. You know, you've pinned your whole month on those events for activity, whereas online we can do so many in a week. What have I done so we do the skincare, the nutrition and the makeup tutorials. So I find that if somebody does know nothing about Arbonne, they will learn so much from those. I've never sold so many 30-day packs in all of my life, just through them seeing what a 30-day program is. And we have a personal trainer that talks through the 30-day products and things like that. As a team, we tend to, what else do we do? So we obviously encourage rebookings as well. And we, like in the past, we've, you know, book an online event to go into the draw to win an RE9 set or something for the month. So that always really helps. If you can, they don't automatically get something for hosting, but they can go into the draw for something. So that really helps to extend your network, because they think, oh, well, if I can host an online event and win an RE9 set, then, you know, it's a bit of a no-brainer. So we find that really helps. Follow up, as with anything, you know, fortune is in the follow-up, and we sort of have a bit of a system where we follow up once, you know, follow up probably 3 times over the course of the online event. You know, and I still have so many people that don't accept, you know, don't see the messages and things like that. But we put a post in the online events as well that says, you know, check your inbox. It may be sitting in your others folder or whatever, and that seems to have helped as well with the amount of people that that see the follow-up messages. Sorry, I haven't even looked at the chat.
Your follow-up system is mainly on the online events. I think what happens is people think that because they don't getting orders, or, you know, people aren't getting back to them, that they're necessarily doing something wrong. But yeah, I don't know if you can shed some light on that.
No, definitely not doing anything wrong. Facebook algorithm is very, very tough, I have to say. Like, I've been nearly in Facebook jail so many times because of online events, because they, you know, deem things as spam. So Facebook does make it a bit tricky if you are sort of doing. All I can suggest is change up your messages, and, you know, like a little bit, just to tweak at the start, so you don't sort of you know, get in trouble with Facebook.
Yeah, just your follow-up system, really, but I can get that.
Follow-up system. So yeah, the first one, I mean, I've got verbiage for I've got all that verbiage, so I can share that with Felicia too, if you like. Awesome. Sort of the three touch points.
Yeah,
and to what we
did. The 3-day event where you have, I think you've got, oh my God, what's your personal trainer called? Carly does it.
Yep.
Yeah, and we've seen that video, guys. So
yeah, I mean, and it's incredible, but it's nothing, you know, nothing we've done is out of this world. We're still human. Yeah. We're standing in our kitchens, but I think that actually makes us more relatable. Like, it's not, I mean, I love all of the official Arbonne videos, but sometimes keeping it a bit more real helps people to resonate with them as well. So have you replicated videos as well, Felicia?
We started off that way, and then a few of the team decided that they wanted to do their own.
Yep.
And it was great to watch you guys do yours. And then obviously it's given us confidence to say, well, you know, yeah, exactly, they're great, but I can do that too.
Yep.
So we've got the option there. If people feel that they want to use the videos, they can, or if people want to do their own. But a lot of people have found that they got a lot more engagement when they did their own 15-minute event, and basically just 15 minutes talk about their story. And I suppose it's not as much leverage as what you're saying with the 3-day events, but I suppose it's helping with new people learn the script, learn about the products, and just be a little bit more in control of their team and their business. And a little bit like exactly what we did when we were building face-to-face, is your upline or your sponsor would do maybe 2 or 3 events with you, and then you would go off and do your own. So yeah, and again, I'm leaving it a lot to the discretion of the consultant.
Oh, and that's it. Everybody, like I said in my training, everybody runs their business differently, and what works for some won't work for others, or you choose to do otherwise. But, you know, we rolled out this infrastructure to the team. You know, I personally added in a welcome and close video of me, because I really felt like I was lacking from the online event. They still didn't know who the consultant was that was behind the online event. So I did add in a welcome and close video. That seemed to help a lot. But yeah, and other people have gone on and done their own videos and stuff too. But I actually personally find a lot of power in having a PT, a beauty therapist, and, you know, a makeup artist, because I'm not any of those things.
Yeah.
So I've actually found my network love that, because they feel, I guess, they have that extra layer of trust that they are, you know, qualified in that area.
Yeah. Look, it's really great to hear from you, because you guys sort of started those online events, and sometimes to get the most out of them, you really need to understand them, and thank you for, you know, sharing that little bit of insight with us. Sorry, you know, the training's gone on a little bit longer. I know it's 6 o'clock over there. Honestly, we feel so privileged. Brand new National Vice President, just tipped over, and you've shared so many pearls of wisdom with us, and been so gracious in just giving everything that you know. So thank you so much, Emma. Absolutely adore you. And I know that you, this is just the beginning for you. You're going to go to ENVP and above. And I'm sad that we won't be sitting in Maui together this year. But you know what you've built is going to last a lifetime, and there's going to be plenty of years for us to chat and laugh and share drinks and cocktails in Maui. Now it's time for you guys to get your ass into gear like Emma did, and, you know, declare it that you're going to be a national vice president, declare that you're going to do the work, and realise that your excuses are really your own at the end of the day. And Emma had absolutely every excuse to bench her business, but instead she actually decided that it was the very thing that she needed to build a life around. So again, I'm not going to you know, take too much more of your time up. Fabulous training. Anything that Emma shares, I will share with you all. And lastly, just before we go, I'm going to pop a little something on Rise to Nation later. We're going to organising a movie date. The Secret is playing. I don't know, Emma, if you've watched it.
Love it.
Have you gone to see it?
No, not the new one. Sorry, no.
There's a new, so it's based on the book The Secret, and it's a bit of a love story, and we just thought it'd be really fun to have a team you know, team movie date night. So I'll pop the details up. Please let me know, as we're actually booking out the whole theatre, and it's half price, gold class. So $21, which is insane. And we're going to have the whole theatre to ourselves, a little bit of a mingle and a drink beforehand. And the date is actually, sorry, Em, I'm just going to share this 2 seconds with them. The date is next Friday night, not next Friday night, Friday the 28th of August. Okay, and it's going to be probably about 6:30-ish. More details to come, but yeah, it'd be fun. It'd be great to do it with your teams, and I just think it'd be awesome. I just want to share that with you all. Anyway, go enjoy your Sunday. To you, Emma, and yeah, thank you so much.
Thanks, Em.
Thanks so much, Emma.
That was incredible.
Thank you. Very nice.
Thank you, Emma.
Thanks, Emma. That was amazing. Best wishes.
Thank you. Loved it.
Everyone.
Bye. Bye-bye.